What is up guys, and welcome back to my channel. And as the title of the video suggests, this is going to be your guide to 4-3-3 attack formation. And I know a lot of you guys have requested the formation guide for 4-1-2-1-2, aka the narrow formation, but the poll wants for the 4-3-3 attack, and I think it is only fair that we cover the 4-3-3 attack formation first. And with this formation I will also be covering 4-3-3 defend and 4-3-3 simple, the regular 4-3-3 formation, and I won't be covering them in this specific video, but they will come right after the another, so stay tuned for those videos. And after they're done, you will see your 4-1-2-1-2, aka the diamond formation guide as well. So without any further ado, let's jump into this formation guide and let's see what we have in front of us. And you probably already know that we are going to discuss 4 things in this video: how you should play with this formation, what kind of players do you need in this formation, what kind of skill boost you should give to those players, and what kind of players you need on the bench. Because as I've discussed in my previous videos, the bench strength really matters a lot in head-to-head matches, and if you have the right players on the bench, they can make a lot of difference in some matches. So I'm gonna put down my mic a little bit to this point. I think that's enough. So let's start our discussion about this formation. First of all, let's see how you should be playing with this formation. Since you have a cam right below your 3 attackers, this cam is going to act like 2 ways. Your cam can either act like a deep lying playmaker or a supporting attacker. So that would depend on the kind of a player that you have and what kind of work rates does that player possess. And we will come back to the attack, but first of all, let's talk about the defense first. I don't think we have anything to discuss about the goalkeeper, so let's just skip past it and start talking about the center backs, because in my previous videos I did talk about the center backs, but I won't talk much about them in this video. The only thing that should be discussed is the work rates, I think, because in my last video I said that medium-high work rates are the most ideal for this formation, and that is, I think, the same case here. Your center backs must have either medium-high or low-high work rates to fit completely in this specific formation. And as always, the fullbacks are very important for this formation as well, because if they get forward and get out of position, it becomes really hard to defend in this formation. But if you do have some meta center backs like 𝗧𝗶𝗸 Hernandez or somebody like 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠, I think they can work well in this formation too, because even though they have high medium work rates, but still they track back quite exceptionally, and their defending and tackling is also on point. So I think you do have some exception with those guys. But in case you're not using meta fullbacks, then I think you're probably going to be in a bit of a trouble, because even if you use fullbacks that have high work rates, they still get forward a lot. But I have noticed this a lot, that if your fullback with high work rates get too much forward and you face an attack at that point, for some reason they don't track back and they stay in that attacking position, and that is a bit of a problem. So since this formation is already too attacking, I don't think you need much support from your fullbacks in the attacking department. And for that reason, if you are playing a 4-3-3 attack formation, your fullbacks must be super defensive, and medium-high work rates are just super ideal. Now let's jump on to the midfield, because midfield in this formation, as any formation, is quite crucial. So first up, you have your central mids. So what kind of central midfielders do you need in this sort of a formation? Since this is a very attacking formation, you need your central mids to hold their position really well. So ideally, you would want your central mids to be defensive. Players like Yaya Toure can do really well in this formation, because you do need some pace as well, you need some passing as well, and that is the kind of a setup that you need in this formation for your central mids, because not only your central mids do the defensive work, but they also get forward a bit. And because I think you can see that in this side of the pitch, you don't really have much in between your wings. So if you're already using defensive fullbacks, I think your central mid should be a really good box-to-box player. He can have medium work rates, he can have medium high work rates too, High can work as well, but I don't think you should play completely defensive or completely attacking central mids in this formation. And the reason is that because since you already have a cam, you don't need an attacking midfielder in this formation, and since you're already using defensive fullbacks, you don't also need your central mid to be completely defensive. You don't really want to play somebody like 𝗧𝗶𝗸 𝗧𝐵𝐸 because that guy is too defensive. You also don't want to play somebody like 𝗧𝗏 here because I know 𝗧𝗏 doesn't go forward much and he can hold his position really well. He can do some great defensive work, but still I don't think you need your central mid to be that much defensive. In case you're using an attacking fullback and you don't really have much choice, because of course you can't always decide what kind of players you have in your squad. In that case, I think a fully defensive midfielder or even a CDM can work on that side of the pitch. So medium, high-medium or medium-high work rates are the most ideal for this formation's central mids. So now let's talk about the cam, because I think it is a very interesting take. As I've already told you guys that you can use two kinds of cams in this formation. First is a deep line cam. For example, if you have somebody like Ronaldinho or Bobby Charlton or Cole Palmer, we have so many cam options in this game. So if you are using that sort of a cam, their job is to provide crucial passes to your attackers. Not only they get into some good positions, but since majority of the cams have the playmaker trait, your attackers make really decent runs when the playmaker has the ball. And the passing of that deep line playmaker is also exceptional. The second option that you can go for is using a striker or a winger in that cam position whose secondary position is also cam. So I have some examples like Diego Maradona and Pelé, and even somebody like Cruyff can do really good in that formation. If you are using those kind of players in the cam spot for this specific formation, their main job is not to provide crucial passes. They do provide passes too, of course, because they are in that specific spot, but their passing accuracy will not be as good as a proper deep line cam. Their job will be to make some runs as well, and they might even change their position with your striker, and they start acting like the striker themselves. And I think that can be a good thing too if they are really good with their dribbling, pace, and of course their shooting. They are also very good for making runs from behind, and they can literally act like shadow striker, and they would just hang beside your attackers and wait for a rightful opportunity to get in behind and make some really good runs. And they also give you some decent opportunities to score from outside of the box. So that is a really good thing about those kinds of cams. And coming towards the attack now, and your striker must be a completely all-round player. He must have incredible pace, because if you're playing with a deep line cam, he's going to provide some great passes to your striker. And whether those are ground passes or lob passes, whether they are through passes or direct passes, whatever the case, your striker must be really good with dribbling. His physical and his pace should be really on point. And work rate wise, if you are using a deep line playmaker as a cam, your striker should have high medium or high low work rates. These are the ideal choices you have. And in case you're using a shadow striker cam, aka using a literal striker or a winger in that cam position, I think your striker can be medium or medium low, because they do swap out their positions, and I think that can really work well too. For your wingers, I think you should use natural wingers, or you can even use some strikers like Owen here. And if those players have incredible pace and they feel really smooth, they can dribble really well, I think those players can work too in this sort of a setup. Work rates wise, ideally you would want high medium work rates for your wingers too, because if you are using a deep line playmaker, you want your players to make great runs. And even if you're using somebody like Michael Owen, who has medium work rates, since he's a striker, he makes some exceptional runs because of his insane positioning stats. So I think he works fine for this kind of a setup too, and some other names can work too. But I think if you're using a natural winger like 𝗧𝗶𝗸. Even though he's really good, he's exceptional with the ball, I don't think he's going to make those kinds of runs. If your cam is a shadow striker, I think then you can work really well with 𝗧𝗶𝗸, because in case you're holding the ball, spinning around with 𝗧𝗶𝗸, your shadow striker cam might run in behind, take up his spot, and get in some really good position. So that can be a really good thing as well. So this is the kind of a setup you need. And now let's come towards the work rates. Of course, as always, for your defenders, you would want defending and no-nonsense defender skill boost for all of your defenders, whether they're center backs or fullbacks. For your CMs, I think the most ideal would be box-to-box. Awareness can work on some players too, but I don't think you need awareness in this formation. I think you only need awareness boost if your fullbacks are attacking and you need some really good awareness on your center mids to cover those spaces left by that fullback. So, for example, on my right side, I have Trent. If I am using Trent on that side, I would want my Matthias to have the awareness skill boost. Or for example, if you are using 𝗂𝗂 and you have Bastian Schweinsteiger on that central mid position, you would want Schweinsteiger to have the awareness skill boost. And the other central mid must be, I think, he must have the box-to-box skill move. So that is a really good setup. And for your cam, I think the best skill boost you can give to your cam, if he is a deep-lying playmaker, of course it is going to be the playmaker skill boost, and that is going to amplify not only his passing and vision, but also give some skill boost to his dribbling. So he is going to feel a lot smoother as well. So I think that is a really good choice for your cam. In case you are using a striker or a winger in that cam spot, of course, that player is already going to have the dexterity boost. So we don't really have to discuss much about that position. And for all of your attackers, dexterity is just a no-brainer. So I think that is also covered up. And now coming towards the bench, I think you need 4 types of players on your bench. One of them should be a striker, and if you have a striker that can also play on the wings, that is just a +1. In case you don't have that kind of a striker, I think having a winger is really crucial, because you don't know what goes on in some matches, and in case your wingers run dry and you really need some pace because you are lagging behind or goal down, you might need a fresh winger to really get some benefit off from those tired legs from the opposition players. And I don't know how many times my Gareth Bale has saved my ass, because in so many matches I was a goal down and it was almost the dying moments of the match, and I just switched in Gareth Bale, and because he already has such good dribbling and the opposing players were tired, he was able to cruise past them quite easily and score me some equalizers or even some winners in some cases. So having that kind of a player can really be helpful. And another player that should 100% be on the bench for you is a backup for your cam, because if your cam has high, medium, or whatever work rates, if he has medium defensive work rates, I think your cam is going to get tired too quickly, and it doesn't matter how good stamina your cam has, he's still going to last only about 60 or 65 minutes. So having a backup for your cam is also really crucial. Another player that you can have on your bench is of course a center back, because you know this is a very attacking formation and you're probably going to concede a lot of attacks, and you might have to make your center backs run more than usual, and they can be tired by the end of the match. So having a center back backup can also be crucial in case you want to defend your lead. So this was the guide for the 4-3-3 attack formation. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you're going to find some useful tips from this video to really help your gameplay as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell so you never miss an update, because I will be making more amazing content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.